Hi students, welcome to Social Studies class, and today we will study our second chapter, Political Science, that is Federalism. In chapter 1, we have studied about the power sharing, how the power sharing is done in different forms of government, whether it is federal form of government or it is unitary form of government or a government based on community or a government based on majority. So in chapter 1 we saw that power sharing was done in Belgium based on the community, and at different levels the power was divided. But when we saw in Sri Lanka the power sharing was not done. The power is mostly was concentrated in the hands of majority of the people, that is majoritarian form of government. Okay, so today we will study what is federalism, what federalism stands for. Yes, students, we all know that our country got freedom, or you can say the power was transformed from the British government to the Indian government in 1947. Since then we became a democratic form of government. We adopted democratic form of government, and by 1950 India became a republic, sovereign republic nation. Okay, but initially at the beginning we never find the word federalism included in our constitution directly, but indirectly our constitution provides for federal form of government, because in our constitution it is clearly mentioned that power must be divided between the center and the state government. So federalism is nothing but the division of power between various levels of government, that is it may be central government, state government or subordinate to the central government. Today we will study what is federalism and what are the features of federalism. Now, what makes any country a federal country? Okay, and how can we say India is a federal country? Now, if you see the features of our country, the federalism which we practice in our country is that it has mainly two tiers of government. A federal government must have minimum two tiers, that is two levels of government. One is at the central level, which we call in our country even the union government or the central government. Another is a state government, or we call as a regional government. So these two are the two levels. So the main and the foremost feature of federal government is division of power, and the power must be divided between the central government and the state government. Next feature we see is that different tiers of government, they govern on the same citizen. See, the power is divided between the central government and the state government, but the people of the country are not divided. They are same, but government, respective government is governing them. Central government and state government, they govern on the same person, but in different forms. They have their jurisdiction, they have their you can say limits, boundaries and guidelines, different policies they have which they bring on the respective people. And these people, these both central and the state government, they have different jurisdictions. So they should not merge, they should not come to a conflict. Okay, like for example in our country we enjoy certain central government policies, we enjoy certain state government policies, certain you can say facilities we get directly from the state government, and certain facility we get from the respective state government. So same citizen is governed or ruled by both the government, that is central government and the state government. Next, jurisdiction is guaranteed in the constitution. They cannot divide by themselves. Already in our constitution, the jurisdiction of these two levels of government is mentioned, where they have to go in the time of clash or any misunderstanding among the central government and state government. Every respective state we have the High Court, and at the country level we have the Supreme Court. Next, fundamental provisions. You may be knowing fundamental rights. The fundamental provisions cannot be changed by any one form of government. Unilaterally it cannot be changed. If only central government want to change the federal provisions, it cannot change. Both the central and the state government has to accept, or majority of the state government must be, more than half of the state governments that should be in the favor of that. Then only the fundamental provision shall be changed, shall be modified. Otherwise, a single level of government cannot change the fundamental provisions in our country. Next one is, court has power to interrupt the working of these two forms of government. The Supreme Court, even sometimes respective high courts also, they have right to check the working and functioning of both the government. They always try to monitor them, whether they are working under the guidelines of constitution, they are working under the principles of constitution or not. So it is very much necessary. Like in any game, any match, like cricket match, you see umpire which is taking care of both the teams. In football or hockey, we see a referee. Similarly, the court act like a umpire between the central government and the state government, so that both should not have a conflict, misunderstanding, and they should not neglect the constitutional provisions. They must work as per the guidelines provided by our constitution. They must work in the limits of the constitution. They cannot frame, they cannot make any laws of their own. That is fundamental. Courts has power. Even courts can interrupt their working. Next, sources of revenue. Yes, very necessary to run a government. We require revenue, income, to bring certain policies, programs into implementation, or successful running or carrying the machinery of the government. We require revenue. So there should not be any misunderstanding among the central government and the state government. The revenue system, the collection of revenue or the tax, has been divided very clearly between the central government and the state government. From the respective department, from the respective field, they are liable to collect the taxes. There should not be any conflict on the revenue. Next one is the dual objective. Yes, students, dual objective is to work. The central government has to play more important role than the respective state governments in a federalism. In a federalism, the more responsibility lies in the hands of central government. So, central government has to maintain integrity and security of the nation, of the country, as well as at the same time it has to maintain the diversity of the country. It has to maintain the it has to make balance. It has to balance the regional diversity. You all know that our country is a diverse nation. Every state has its own language, different cultures, traditions, occupations. So this all has to be maintained without any disturbances, and no community should be hurt based on their language, religion, culture, ethic, anything. So the central government has more important liability to maintain, that is national integrity, security. At the same time, it has to balance the regional disparities in our country. Next, we have seen practicing federalism. At the same time, what we can see, there are two types of federation existing in this world. One is coming together and one is holding together. So let us discuss about them also. Now, coming together federation. Coming to the federation, nothing but nation, vast nation where different regions are being formed. Like if we take USA, Switzerland, Australia, these are in the size of continents, especially Australia and USA. So this came together. The reason for them coming together, they might have fear of being isolated or a fear of being ruled or governed by any other nation, other country. So they have come together to protect themselves. Such form of federation is known as coming together federation, and the best example is USA, Switzerland and Australia. Next, there were many vast nation, big nation, huge area with diverse community, language, even maybe religion also. Such nations, in order to avoid misunderstanding of religion, language, community, culture, they have been divided among themselves in different region wise, different provinces, in different provinces, but they are governed by a single government. Though they are divided, they are being governed by they have been united by a single policy. For example, if we take our country, India, we have only one constitution, but we have different states, different languages, different religion is practiced, different culture and customs are practiced, but we all are Indians. So, such type of nation is known as holding together. Though they are having different types of can say regions, but they are united by a certain bond, that is nothing but national integrity. So we have put, and another example of holding together is Spain and Belgium. So we have two types of federalism, one is coming together and another is holding together. So I hope you would have understood what is federation, what are the features of federation, Indian federation, and next there are two types of federation, one is coming together, another is holding together. So thank you, we'll continue in the next class. Bye, take care.